Hello again. Welcome back. Today we are on module 4 of the Discovering My Why. So this module really is a continuation of where we left off last time and really looking at where our statements of truth have formed into values and connecting them back to the areas of intention in our life. So as always, we start off with a reflection question. So looking back at the homework for module 3, and that was building out your timeline and forming your statements of truth, go back and reread these belief statements that you have accepted as true in your life. So pause, get your homework out, and just start off today and this time together, remembering where you left off. So everything we do in module 4 is going to be using the values worksheet in your homework kit. So it may be helpful to have this out in front of you as we go through today's video. So the first thing we're going to do is go back to each one of your statements of truth. So those belief statements that you had. And for each one, think about the area or areas of intention that each cluster coincides with. So for example, the belief statement that I first showed, the one where the statement was being prepared and independent is required for success. For me, that ties both to the area of intention around my vocation, but also the area of finances and that financial perspective for me. So you want to start by going back and connecting each one of your clusters and statements to the area of intention that it is predominantly connected to. We're going to talk a little bit now about values. So the definition that I really like is a value is a stable, long-lasting belief about what is important to a person. It's the standard by which people order their lives and make their choices. I think all too often when people are asked what their value is, we often gravitate to a keyword that maybe was also a value of a company that we worked at or a board we sat on, but not necessarily something that's really rooted in our own personal experiences that we can draw back to in these defining moments. This is what I told myself is true, and that has been reinforced over time. And here is the value that I've created and hold true to that comes from that. So that's what we're going to do today. So when we look at a value, it really is a belief that has developed into a value when a person's commitment to it grows and they see it being important. So it's really that statement of truth that we've tested out and validated over time. So each value can really be categorized into different types. So they can relate to your happiness, your wealth, your career success, your family. I really like to look at them, connecting them back to the different areas of intention in life and those 8 dimensions of wellness. My perspective is values are discovered, not chosen. They're the underpinning drivers in our decisions. So when looking at core values, I found a great tool and I've copied and pasted it. And so it's available in the homework section as a tool. And it's from this website, developinggoodhabits.com/core values. And here there are 100 different examples of values and a definition of them. So I have, as I've gone through this exercise, I've connected back to these, kind of this list and found the ones that really resonate. Now I've changed some of the definitions to be more applicable to what that word might mean to me. So what we're going to do now is really look at each statement of truth that connects to those beliefs that we told ourselves and deemed it as important. So when we look at these statements, we'll go one by one. So, pick whichever one you want to start with and really reflect on what decisions have I made consciously or subconsciously about what is important because I have chosen to believe this statement. How do I choose differently because of this statement of truth and holding on to it? What do I put above or place importance on because I believe this statement to be true? And then lastly, what drives my decision? So really, it's kind of taking each one of these and asking a broader question and then drilling down. So here's an example for me. So using that same statement of truth, being prepared and independent is what drives success. The value or the commitment of what is important that comes from that statement of truth for me is this. So in this particular case, there were two different values that really connected back to the statement. The first one is the value of self-confidence. And to me, what that means is knowing that my skills make a positive contribution. And so in order to have that self-confidence, I need to be prepared and I need to be independent and self-sufficient. The other value that this statement leads me to in terms of a commitment of importance really is the concept and the value of commitment. And to me, commitment is work ethic plus accountability. So doing what I said I'm going to do, plus passion. What are those things that bring me energy? Plus discipline and honing my skills collectively is what the value of commitment means to me. So when I do the same approach on each of my other statements of truth, I come up with the value or that commitment of what is important. So you can see here the values for me. I went through the first one, that self-confidence and commitment. The next one is was really connected to more of my social area of intention. And the belief statement here was caring means being considerate. And so for me, this naturally led me to the value of consideration. So the definition that I've honed in on that is knowing who my people are and caring for them deeply. So I'm much more of a person to have a smaller, tighter knit circle and really caring for those people deeply. And I'm very cautious of who I let in on that inner circle because what it means to be in that circle to me is having a great deal of consideration, which requires the ability to care and choice to care for people deeply. The next bucket for me was connected to the intellectual area. And the belief statement here was learning is the gateway to new opportunities. And this really led me to the value of growth. And to me, that value is a conscious choice to always choose to learn. The next one was a cluster of one, and it was really tied to my vocation. And the statement of truth that came from here was leading by example in everything I do and being a person of excellence. And so to me, being a person of excellence is really about, and it connects right into that kind of that obvious value of excellence and doing things to the highest standard. And to me, that's really about, what are the choices that I make and how do I choose excellent even when nobody's watching? The next one was related to health, and that health is fickle. And the area of intention here was the physical. And looking at the statement that my daily habits drive my health. So I've had to make some intentional changes to my daily habits, particularly over the last couple of years, after having a couple health situations crop up that required surgery and, different things, that really appreciating that I need to be intentional about what I put in my body and how I exercise and keep my body fit to be my best me. And I really found this one connected back to the value of growth and always choosing to learn. So for me, this has really been about new eating habits, commitment to exercise, commitment to walking, which for me is my sanity check on a daily basis. And the last area was really connected into spirituality. And the statement of truth that I hold in this area is, really a quote from the Bible, and that is, in my weakness, he is strength. And so the value here is a strong value of faith. And to me, what that means is trusting in the things I cannot see. Now, when you look at yours, you may not have the same areas of intention, and I probably suspect you won't have the same values because everything is coming from the statement of truth in those belief areas that are unique to you, that are connected and grounded and rooted in those defining moments of your life and back to what you told yourself in those moments. So then once you have gone through that same process, then really, it becomes a process of prioritizing. So really picking your top 5. So you may not have had 5, depending on how many clusters you had, or you may have way more than 5, but really try to drill it down into what are your top 5. So for me, I like to be visual, and Canva is the tool that I use. So it's great at incorporating graphics into documents. So for me, I ordered them like this: faith, excellence, growth, consideration, and commitment. So for today's homework, really it is going through this exact same process. So the 2 templates that I have here for you is your values worksheet. So I have 8 different spots here. If you have more than 8 clusters, just print off this page twice. And if you have less than 8, just leave the squares blank that aren't relevant. And so really looking at, for each statement of truth, what area of intention does it link back to, and what was the value or the commitment of importance that came from that. So feel free to use that core value list that I have in the tools section. It has 100 different core values. Feel free to adjust the definitions to something that resonates with you. I really look at it as a starting place. So feel free to use that if you like. And then the second piece of homework really is taking the values that you come up with and coming up with your list of your 5 core values, or less if you ended up having fewer clusters than that. And that is it for Module 4. Thanks so much for joining me, and we will catch you in Module 5.